Poseidon is one of the 12 Olympian deities of the pantheon in Greek mythology. His main domain is the ocean, and he is called the god of the sea. Additionally, he is referred to as Earthshaker due to his role in causing earthquakes, and has been called the tamer of horses. He is usually depicted as an older male with curly hair and beard. The name of the sea god Nethunus in Etruscan was adopted in Latin for Neptune in Roman mythology. Both were sea gods analogous to Poseidon. Linear B tablets show that Poseidon was venerated at Pylos and Thebes in pre-Olympian Bronze Age Greece as a chief deity, but he was integrated into the Olympian gods as the brother of Zeus and Hades. According to some folklore, he was saved by his mother Rhea, who concealed him among a flock of lambs and pretended to have given birth to a colt, which was devoured by Kronos. There is a Homeric hymn to Poseidon, who was the protector of many Hellenic cities, although he lost the contest for Athens to Athena. According to the references from Plato in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, the island of Atlantis was the chosen domain of Poseidon. Etymology. The earliest attested occurrence of the name written in Linear B is Poseidaro or Poseidawoni, which correspond to Pi Omicron Sigma Epsilon Iota Delta Alpha Omega Nu and Pi Omicron Sigma Epsilon Iota Delta Alpha Omicron Nu Omicron Sigma in Mycenaean Greek. In Homeric Greek it appears as Pi Omicron Sigma Epsilon Iota Delta Alpha Omega Nu. In Aeolic as Pi Omicron Tau Epsilon Iota Delta Alpha Omega Nu, and in Doric, as Pi Omicron Tau Epsilon Iota Delta Alpha Nu. Pi Omicron Tau Epsilon Iota Delta Alpha Omega Nu, and Pi Omicron Tau Epsilon Iota Delta Sigma. The form Pi Omicron Tau Epsilon Iota Delta Alpha Omega Nu appears in Corinth. A common epithet of Poseidon is Epsilon Nu Omicron Sigma Iota Chi Theta Omega Nu Anoshichan, Earthshaker, an epithet which is also identified in Linear B as Enisi Daroni. This recalls his later epithets Anosides and Anosiios, indicating the chthonic nature of Poseidon. The origins of the name Poseidon are unclear. One theory breaks it down into an element meaning husband or lord, from pi asterisk patis, and another element meaning earth, Doric for gamma, producing something like lord or spouse of Da, i.e., of the earth. This would link him with Demeter, Earth Mother. Walter Burkert finds that the second element Da remains hopelessly ambiguous, and finds a husband of earth reading quite impossible to prove. Another theory interprets the second element is related to the word asterisk delta omicron nu doron, water. This would make asterisk Poseidon into the master of waters. There is also the possibility that the word has pre-Greek origin. Plato in his dialogue Cratylus gives two alternative etymologies: either the sea restrained Poseidon when walking as a foot bond, or he knew many things. Bronze Age Greece. Linear B inscriptions. If surviving Linear B clay tablets can be trusted, the name Poseidawoni occurs with greater frequency than does Dayuya. A feminine variant, Poseidaiwa, is also found, indicating a lost consort goddess, in effect the precursor of Amphitrite. Poseidon carries frequently the title Wanaka in Linear B inscriptions, as king of the underworld. The chthonic nature of Poseidon Wanix is also indicated by his title Enisi Daroni in Mycenaean Knossos and Pylos, a powerful attribute. In the cave of Amnisos, Enisidoun is related with the cult of Elithiaia, the goddess of childbirth. She was related with the annual birth of the divine child. During the Bronze Age, a goddess of nature dominated both in Minoan and Mycenaean cult, and Wanix was her male companion in Mycenaean cult. It is possible that Demeter appears as Damarte in a Linear B inscription, however the interpretation is still under dispute. In Linear B inscriptions found at Pylos, Enisi Daroni is related with Poseidon, and Setipotini Yar is probably related with Demeter. Tablets from Pylos record sacrificial goods destined for the two queens and Poseidon. The two queens may be related with Demeter and Persephone, or their precursors, goddesses who were not associated with Poseidon in later periods. Arcadian myths. The illuminating exception is the archaic and localized myth of the stallion Poseidon and mare Demeter at Phegalia in isolated and conservative Arcadia. Noted by Pausanias as having fallen into desuetude, the stallion Poseidon pursues the mare Demeter, and from the union she bears the horse Arion, and a daughter, who obviously had the shape of a mare too. The violated Demeter was Demeter Erinyes. In Arcadia, Demeter's mare form was worshipped into historical times. Her Zoannon of Phegalia shows how the local cult interpreted her as goddess of nature, a Medusa type with a horse's head with snaky hair, holding a dove and a dolphin, probably representing her power over air and water. Origins. It seems that the Arcadian myth is related with the first Greek-speaking people who entered the region during the Bronze Age. Their religious beliefs were mixed with the beliefs of the indigenous population. It is possible that the Greeks didn't bring with them other gods except the gods Zeus and the Dioscouros. The horse was related with the Ligide element, and with the underworld. Poseidon appears as a beast, which is the river spirit of the underworld, as it usually happens in northern European folklore, and not unusually in Greece. Poseidon, Wanix, is the male companion of the goddess of nature. In the relative Minoan myth, Pasiphae is mating with the white bull, and she bears the hybrid creature Minotaur. The bull was the old pre-Olympian Poseidon. The goddess of nature and her Paradros survived in the Eleusinian cult, where the following words were uttered. Mighty Potnia bore a strong son. In the heavily sea-dependent Mycenaean culture, there is not sufficient evidence that Poseidon was connected with the sea. We don't know if Poseidon was a sea goddess. Homer and Hesiod suggest that Poseidon became lord of the sea following the defeat of his father Kronos. When the world was divided by lot among his three sons, Zeus was given the sky, Hades the underworld, and Poseidon the sea, with the earth and Mount Olympus belonging to all three. Given Poseidon's connection with horses as well as the sea, and the landlocked situation of the likely Indo-European homeland, Nobuo Kometa has proposed that Poseidon was originally an aristocratic Indo-European horse god who was then assimilated to Near Eastern aquatic deities when the basis of the Greek livelihood shifted from the land to the sea, or a god of fresh waters who was assigned a secondary role as god of the sea, where he overwhelmed the original Aegean sea deities such as Proteus and Nereus. Conversely, Walter Burkert suggests that the Hellene cult worship of Poseidon as a horse god may be connected to the introduction of the horse and war chariot from Anatolia to Greece around 1600 BC. It is almost sure that once Poseidon was worshipped as a horse, and this is evident by his cult in Peloponnesos. However, he was originally a god of the waters, and therefore he became the earth shaker, because the Greeks believed that the cause of the earthquakes was the erosion of the rocks by the waters, by the rivers who they saw to disappear into the earth and then to burst out again. This is what the natural philosophers Thales, Anaximenes and Aristotle believed, which couldn't be different from the folklore belief. Later, when the Mycenaeans traveled along the sea, he was assigned a role as god of the sea. In Homer, Poseidon is the master of the sea. Worship of Poseidon. Poseidon was a major civic god of several cities. In Athens, he was second only to Athena in importance, while in Corinth and many cities of Magna Graecia he was the chief god of the polis. In his benign aspect, Poseidon was seen as creating new islands and offering calm seas. When offended or ignored, he supposedly struck the ground with his trident and caused chaotic springs, earthquakes, drownings and shipwrecks. Sailors prayed to Poseidon for a safe voyage, sometimes drowning horses as a sacrifice. In this way, according to a fragmentary papyrus, Alexander the Great paused at the Syrian seashore before the climactic Battle of Issus, and resorted to prayers, invoking Poseidon, the sea god, for whom he ordered a 4-horse chariot to be cast into the waves. According to Pausanias, Poseidon was one of the caretakers of the oracle at Delphi before Olympian Apollo took it over. Apollo and Poseidon worked closely in many realms. In colonization, for example, Delphic Apollo provided the authorization to go out and settle, while Poseidon watched over the colonists on their way, and provided the lustral water for the foundation sacrifice. Xenophon's Anabasis describes a group of Spartan soldiers in 400–399 BC singing to Poseidon a paean, a kind of hymn normally sung for Apollo. Like Dionysus, who inflamed the Manads, Poseidon also caused certain forms of mental disturbance. A Hippocratic text of California 400 BC, on the sacred disease says that he was blamed for certain types of epilepsy. Epithets. Poseidon was known in various guises, denoted by epithets. In the town of Aegae in Euboea, he was known as Poseidon Aegaeus and had a magnificent temple upon a hill. Poseidon also had a close association with horses, known under the epithet Poseidon Hippios, usually in Arcadia. He is more often regarded as the tamer of horses, but in some myths he is their father, either by spilling his seed upon a rock or by mating with a creature who then gave birth to the first horse. He was closely related with the springs, and with the strike of his trident, he created springs. Many springs like Hippocrene and Aganipa in Helicon are related with the word horse. In the historical period, Poseidon was often referred to by the epithets Anoshicthan, Sisikhthan and Anosios, and Gamma Alpha Iota Eta Omicron K Omicron Sigma Gaia Archos, all meaning earth shaker, and referring to his role in causing earthquakes. Some other epithets of Poseidon are Asphorlios, as protector from the earthquakes; Heliconeros, related with the mountain Helicon; Tavrios, there was a fest, Tavraea, in Ephesus; Petrios, in Thessaly, he hit a rock, and the horse Scypheus appeared; Apoctus, in Megalopolis; Pelagios, in Ionia; Phykios, in Mykonos; Phytamios, related with the vegetation in Troezen; Megara, Rhodes; epithets related with the genealogy trees; Patriginios, Genethlios, Genesius, Pater, Phratrios.